Uh, again, we're glad to be here. You see, we trying to get a little renovation or work done, and so I didn't get to leave here until about 3 in the morning because you had to go and clean up and get all of the dust and everything that went everywhere. But gradually, we are getting things a little bit back to normal from the other renovational things, getting new heating, air conditioning, and setting things off. And so hopefully you're noticing, and they'll be come back to finish up. And when it finished, even that back part is going to get covered, and where all of it end up looking pretty much the same. And then we're going to have a little welcome booth over there in that corner, so that way you can pick up your CD and from for the day, or along with books and things of nature, to be in that particular area in order to have someone to welcome you well with a smile, like and not like, but like, it's nothing like smiling. I said again, ain't nothing like smiling. I said again, ain't nothing like smiling. Some of y'all getting it. Ain't nothing like smiling. Some of y'all getting it. Some of y'all get it because y'all, man, y'all. I'm glad the camera wasn't on y'all faces. There's nothing like smiling, and I understand because I got that serious look most of my life, and so when you're about doing things, you're serious, but it still ain't nothing like smiling. Very hard to do good like medicine. Yes, yes, yes. We want to continue down the path in which we have been dealing with and talking and sharing along. We had already we covered the law of the lid, to lift our lids higher in our lives. The law of influence in order to have greater influence and use that influence for good. The law of process, that nothing is born or no success takes place overnight. It's all a process, the law of process. And then in order to maintain and get there, and then to stay there, you need the law of navigation, and you need to navigate yourselves out of life difficulties and navigate yourself into the life of success. The law of Ehud Hutton, you need to learn who to listen to, and I've seen too many of us miss and not listen. Man, even my own kids and long-term members of this congregation have listened to me. They all would be worth and value millions today, but they didn't listen, because you got to know who you're listening to. Who you listen to your friends, ain't got nothing, and you don't listen to the right people. But if you listen to the things that I share and I teach, it'll help you become successful. And listen to me carefully. Just quoting the Bible don't make you successful. Just go around talking about how blessed you are don't make you blessed, and the list goes on. It's learning how to do. And one thing I have seen, and I'm very grateful for, seeing, even though it be happening late in life instead of early in life, but watching some of my kids begin to do things, and then to, you may do some things to help along, but they still got to do in order to have and to own and things, because there's nothing like ownership. Most wealthy people, whether it be Warren Buffett, whether it be Donald Trump, whether it be Bill Gates, or whether whoever it is, most wealthy people, wealth is wrapped up in ownership and the things they own. And property is essential. And learning how to own. Most Americans, their greatest wealth is in the home they live in. The sad part is most Black people don't own. They tell us even people make six figures, The average person that makes six figures, they only have about $5,000 in savings. That ain't going to help you if you get fired. You have to learn to use the principles that the Creator give. You see trouble, you prepare. And if you live long, trouble come every year. Even rich people get to go through trouble. I don't care how wealthy you are, trouble comes to everybody's house. It comes differently, but it comes, and you need to know how to hear the right voice to get out of it, and you need the law of navigation in order to get out of it. And then you need the law of solid ground in order to be stable. You need the law of respect and the law of intuition. And then last week we taught on the law of magnetism. Who you are is who you attract. And boy, if you don't like what you're attracting, you know, whether it be in life circumstances or people, you better change on what's inside of you. Because the bottom line is that who you are is what you're attracting to you. There's no financial difficulty will stay in your life if it's not a part of who you are. The only reason why you keep struggling, every time you tell around you're struggling is because that's in you. But when you that spirit of struggle get out of you, you'll find yourself stop struggling. Don't mean you won't start having trouble, because trouble comes to everybody. I already said that. It rains on the righteous as well as the unrighteous. It rains on the wealthy as well as the unwealthy. You know, difficulty comes to everybody. But the key is, how do you manage and how do you handle and you deal with it? And when you learn laws and principles, they help you to develop and become who you need to be, because you can change who you are inside. And when you change who you are inside, it changes everything about you and about your life outside. Because if you want anything out to change, you got to change inwardly. I don't care what it is. And if you don't make those adjustments inwardly, you'll never see the manifestations outwardly. And if you do, what's in you will kill it. There's no marriage that's struggling. And every marriage that has struggled, no matter what has come in that marriage, it came from within somebody into the marriage. You heard people talking about this, that, the other, and then you let it in you, and then you brought it into your marriage and killed your marriage. You know, you heard this, that, the other, and created some lust inside of you, and then you was unfaithful in the marriage and everything, and then you brought it to the marriage. And the list goes on and on and on. But it had to come in through you. No problems come into a marriage without the two people. Because if it ain't in the two of you, it won't stay in your relationship. Because you won't permit it in your house. Hello. You know, that's old school, you know, old school. Hello, you know, please answer the phone. Stop letting the phone ring. Answer it, please. Today, we want to talk about the law of connection. Say the law of connection. Say it again, the law of connection. Father, in the name of your Son, I thank you for the anointing of your Holy Spirit resting on me. I thank you for the anointing of your Spirit resting on the ears of those that listen, whether it be through YouTube, whether it be through DVD, or whether it be through CD. Father, I thank you for those in their seats listening. I thank you for the anointing resting in them to hear. May they hear with the spiritual ear and not their natural ear. Father, may they hear what your Spirit is saying to them. Not what to the next person, but to them. May they tune in and hear. Be hearers by your Holy Spirit in Yeshua's name. Amen. The law of connection. Say it again. Leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. The woman at the well is our example in John, the 4th chapter, verse 4 through 22. And the particular verse that I want to pull on is, come, see a man who told me all things that I ever did. Could this be the Messiah? That's the 29th verse of John. I want to ask a very important question. Did Yeshua the Messiah touch you? Because listen to me carefully. even though people go around and they say they believe a quote a Christian, because everybody Christian, that, right? 90% of Americans call themselves Christians. If this is a Christian nation, God knows, God help us in regard to how, in terms of if everybody in America was Christians, God help us. Because we can be a Christian nation and everybody not be a Christian. And then those that are Christians don't necessarily have to live like one, that accept Messiah and don't necessarily live like one. So I didn't mean it that way. I meant to say is that if 97% of Americans were truly Christians, God help us. But we know that's not true. People think that they were born a Christian. My parents were Christian. I grew up Baptist on Baptist. Even though you ain't been to Baptist, but you're Baptist because your mama was a Baptist, and you're Methodist because your mama and your granddaddy was a Methodist, and you're Catholic because everybody in your family has always been Catholic, and so forth and so on. So people call themselves things that they're not. The people that are not black call themselves black, don't they? You saw that in the news a few years back. Somebody, they lived a life as a black person. Went to school and got their grants as a black person. Then they come to find out they was white. Then you got people who black, who really act and think like they white. You got a lot of black folk that have imitated from times of slavery to this day. They go around imitating themselves as white people and will never acknowledge the black side of who they are. But it doesn't change exactly who you are. I don't care if you're male and try to act like a female, you're still a male. I don't care if you're a female, you try to act like a male, you're still a male. It doesn't change anything. But the one thing for sure is, did Messiah touch you? I already stated earlier that he touched me, healed me, rheumatoid arthritis, migraine headaches, altered my life, gave me my life back. My life was moving towards a wheelchair, where I could barely function. He gave me my life back. And because he gave my life, I'm so appreciative. So I want to tell other people about him. I want to do whatever he called me to do. And when I was on the street, I love that. And I wished he had never called me off the streets to bring me inside the church, because, church people, if I can say it nicely, dealing with them is worse than dealing with the folk out there on the street. They know they messed up. Church people don't know they messed up. They try to act like they all right when they not all right. They try to act like they're more than what they are when they're not more than what they are. They try to put a face on that's not real. But here's the deal. There's a difference between pretending you're something, and there's a difference between acting as though you're something before you get there. One is an act of faith. The other one is just hypocrite. Because before, when I was living on less than $3,000 a year, I started acting like I was making more. I saw myself making more. And I saw myself a wealthy individual. And so I act like it right where I was at. They used to use the term fake it till you make it. I don't like using that term because it ain't no about the faith. It's just act like you're there until you get there. When marriage was not where it ought to be, you still keep acting like everything is okay. Not because you're faking it, there ain't no fake in it. Because when something bad, it's bad. Come on, y'all. Be honest. When it's bad, it's bad. Look at somebody and say, when it's bad, it's bad. You can't fake that. You can't fake bad. You can fake good, but you can't fake bad. And you never try to fake bad. But people do go around faking good. But it's very difficult to fake bad. Now you can fake sick, by saying you're sick, but it's hard to fake sick unless you have become a good actor. And if you haven't developed yourself to become a very skilled actor, we know you faking. But again, have Messiah, has he touched your life? Because it's only through a connection, listen to me, it's only through a connection that makes you even want to serve him. It's only when he has touched your life in a meaningful way that makes you even want to please him. If he has not touched your life in a meaningful way, you do not want to serve him, you do not want to please him, and you do not want to live for him. Listen, it's easy to be a part of a church than it is to please your creator. Because being a part of a church is not pleasing him. But part of pleasing him is being a part of a local congregation or a part of a local body of people. That is his will for our lives. He commands it, that we do not forsake the assembling of ourselves together. He commands that we come together and worship at least once a week, every Shabbat. And he tells us the specific day to do that. He commands that. That is command from our Father in heaven. He demands that out of us. But we take that lightly. And all you have to do is look at your life. And when you lose that connection and see how your life begin to go the other direction, all you got to do, watch yourself. Those that when you come on a regular basis, everything, and then watch when you don't come on a regular. Watch the difference in your life. Pay attention to yourself. Watch the difference in other people when they come on a regular basis. Then they start backing up because they see other people. Oh, so-and-so ain't here, so-and-so ain't here. Oh, guess what? It must not be that important because the only time they can come is, on a whatever that main day is. And so now it becomes belittled in the mind of an individual. Watch the spirituality of yourself and others, how it diminishes only because of a lack of connection, because we don't see that as connecting. Push it into marriage. You take sex out of marriage and see how well that marriage is going to be. You want to talk about that all about that. Oh, it is all about that, because you take out sex, nobody wants to be married. I'm serious. No, just be serious about that. Take sex out. I don't even want to be married. I can eat my mama's food. I can eat my sisters and my sister-in-law food. Huh? When you ain't got a wife, you can hire a maid to come clean up if you don't feel like it. You say if you got a wife, why? Because women cost. Come on. Be honest with yourself. You're beautiful, wonderful, but you cost. You don't come cheap. But too many have made themselves cheap. You coming without a cost. You need to make the brother pay for you. No. So, don't think I lost my conversation. I'm talking about the law of connection, y'all, because I'm talking about Sabbath connection. I'm talking about marriage connection, sex. I'm talking about connection. I haven't lost my thought now. Even though it looked like I'm going away from it, we're still talking about the power and the importance of connection. We're talking about being connected to Messiah. We're talking about the law of connection. Say it again. We're talking about what? Law of connection. But you take sex out of marriage. I ain't want nothing to do with it. I'm serious. I hear my son over here. He waiting, looking forward to get me. You take sex out of marriage. Why? Because sex is the act of that covenant of marriage. Listen to me. In case you never heard it, and even you never heard it in dealing with it. Listen, sex is what constitutes marriage. That's why there's no such thing as having sex before marriage. Because once you have sex, you have entered into a covenant. You just didn't make it legal. That's why your heart got ripped when that dude left or when she left. Because somebody's heart get ripped in that ripping and tearing apart. And you think, okay, guess what? Well, look at all the divorces. Look, you done had so many divorces before you ever became married. How many people you done divorced? And you have not made not one of them legal. And yet and still you go through the same heartache and the same pain as married people. And you talk, well, I don't get married, because you get married, you done divorced. Listen to me carefully. Listen very carefully. This woman at the well, Yeshua said, you've had 5 husbands. That was never the problem, because being married and having sex is never a problem. Even if it ends in divorce, it's still holy. You have not sinned. The problem is the one you with now is not. That was the problem. You went and shacking with a man that's not your husband. Now that's the problem. As long as she was marrying those dudes, she wasn't sinning. She was just making bad choices. But when you made a decision to start shacking now that's sinning. If she wasn't shacking, because it didn't say she was shacking, it just that boyfriend you with now, y'all may not be living together, but y'all know what y'all doing. Now that's the problem right there. And her heart was touched by the revelation that was revealed through Messiah. She said, surely you must be a prophet. You done went through my whole life. And now she said, and take note of this. Take note what the text said. Now, let me tell you how God is. Listen. This is how Yahweh is. He uses you right where you are. She had nothing. You can tell by this. Watch this. She had nothing but relationship with men. Because it said, and she went and told all the men in the city. It never even said a woman. Because all of her relationships were just with men. She must have been a fine young lady. Because could get all the brothers in the city's attention. And so now she pulled them all out and said, come see a man that told me about everything about my life. And then they come and then they hear him for themselves and say, we're not believing now because of what you say. We're believing because we heard for ourselves. So I'm not serving the Creator because of somebody else. I'm serving for myself. At some point, I knew my kids had to serve the Creator. Yeah, you made them. You hear Dick talking about it all the time, and the rest of them. Yeah, if you come in my house, you come into church. You come to my house. I know some of y'all do. You come in my house. Well, yeah, if you're gonna live with me, well, you got to go to some church. No, you coming to mine. You go somewhere else too afterwards, but you coming to mine. You in my house. That's rule number 1. It's almost like this. I got my own business and I need some help, and then you come living in my house, and then you go on and then helping somebody else. No, you're gonna work at my business. Now you can work somewhere else after you finish, but you're gonna work at my business. Hello, y'all. Yeah, but y'all go ahead and do that stuff. Well, as long as you go somewhere, I don't know what somewhere is. So I don't know what someone else is preaching. I don't know what they think and what they preach, but I show them what I think and preach. And guess what? If you're gonna be in my house, you got it. And then once you leave my house, you can go where you want to go. You got the freedom to go wherever you want, because that's your choice now. Your own man. But as long as you're in my house, you do what I ask of you. You don't want that, then you don't want to live in my house. Well, that's kind of hard there, somebody said. Well, I think it's hard for you to keep letting somebody live in your house, live off of you, don't give you back. I think that's kind of hard. I think that's far more difficult than me demanding something out of them. Thank you for that. On me, thank you. I thank the Creator for my mom. It's always say getting them the flowers while they're alive. Well, If you're in a house, you're not gonna live in a house and not do nothing. You're gonna do something. And some of y'all know you ain't gonna visit without you doing something. You know, no matter what age you are, you be coming there with your little cane. They say, well, you can do this. Yeah. She gonna find something that you can do with your cane. Yo, you bad knees? All right, you can sit there. Here, you can still get you something done. You gonna get something done. You know, it's just like that's what they did when I was growing up on the farm, man. You know, say, I'm 3 years old, you know, and they tell me I got to work in the cotton field. I'm a kid, little baby. You just say, look, whatever cotton you pull off, guess what? It's some cotton that we don't have to. So you got to get out in the field. So I might go out there, play, do what I do, pull a few cottons off, play what I do, pull a few more cottons off, do what I do. If I only pull off 10 the whole day, that's 10 less they had to pull. But you gonna do something. But they also had, don't think I lost the law connection now. They also had, in regard to another rule, you know, which I think that has been lost. And this also ties into this very law connection is they also told me at 3, you don't work. Man, there'd be a lot of hungry kids today. If we still by that one, you got to do something. You got to work. You got to earn your keep. You don't stay around here for free. You see that food? It costs. You see that bed you sleep in? It costs too. You see that? You feel that air? Y'all feel? Man, that costs. You know, you see the lights? That costs. You know, you see when we got to clean up right here and use a vacuum? That costs. I mean, so everything becomes money. So you need to contribute, make some kind of connection, and to help give back to the connection that one is giving to you. And guess what we are learning not to do? Because somehow we want to come to church. You know, we want to come to church, you know, eat, you know, which one of y'all restaurants y'all like? You know, I don't care if it's fast food or what. So just name one. Go ahead. You want to eat at Burger King and pay your monies at McDonald's. Come on, something wrong with that one. You know, you want to go and eat at Chick-fil-A and then pay your money at McDonald's. Come on. You know, you want to come and be developed here and then give your money somewhere else. Something wrong with that picture. We have food. We got kids over here. All of that. We ain't left the law connection. You got kids over there. You know, whoever you got kids over there, guess what? Those folks take care of your kids. They're doing it. Huh? They connecting with your kids. You ought to connect with them. Amen. When they feeding you in the kitchen, you know, no matter whether it be Sister Chris or Sister Sherry or whoever, and they doing, man, if you tip at the restaurant, why can't you tip and leave them a tip? You know, it'll take some of that complaint out. you know, they demand 15%. So go ahead. You ain't bring no food anyhow, so give a tip. Connect. The law of connection. Every so often, I'm always doing stuff for my wife, but every so often I just actually, my wife pull out and just leave a tip on the table, thank her for cooking. You know why? Because she don't have to do it. If you can tip the restaurant, why can't you tip your own wife? If you can tip the restaurant, why can't you tip the cooks around here? If you can tip the restaurant, how come you can't tip some of your staff every so often? Just let them know, hey, I appreciate you, you know, what you do. Because you don't have to do it. It's called the law of connection. You have to touch a heart before you can ever win. You know, those folks say, you know, you got to catch the fish first before you start trying to scale it, before you clean it. You got to do what? You got to catch it first. But we trying to scale it, clean it, gut it, and we never caught it. That's a problem. You know, you trying to tell people you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, can't do that, and you ain't even want them yet. And listen, if the kids never won you, what do you think about Kansas gonna win somebody else? The Kansas never won me, except for when I came. I was 18 when I got saved, and I felt like God. When I found out God was on my side with modesty, I said, "Yes, God is on my side." Yes. Because even back then, you know, I had some, as a sinner, I had some values and morals, and you know, everybody ought not be seeing your butt. Hello, y'all. You know, because you connecting the wrong way. Because our eyes are connected. I don't care. Look, we don't never get that holy. You know, anything on your look, even if we only like your body, but if you showing something, it still get our attention. You know, we don't want it, ain't thinking about you, but still, if you showing it, you know, even if it just does say, man, you know, it's just men are moved by sight. God wired us that way so we can chase you. You know, and I keep chasing us for 40 years. And you know, the Almighty has blessed us. If He doesn't return, we have a wonderful opportunity, if the Almighty is gracious, that we could actually, literally, if the Almighty allows us to live long enough, we can actually be married about 80 years. Do you know that? So we got another 40 to go. Yeah. But without a doubt, we could easily hit 60. That's within reason. You know, because our family, you know, most of them live long, everything. You know, when we hit 60 years, I'll only be 78 years old. Yeah, most of my family way in the 80s. You know, except for the ones that violate the word, they die early. You know, but my father, you know, smoked ever since he was a teenager and still lived to be in his late 80s. My biological father, man. I said, boy, prayers kept that brother, because I don't hardly know nobody that was a chain smoker to live in the 80s. Almost all of them died in their 50s, and some of them made it to their 60s. Because that was still law connecting to the wrong thing. You know, when you connect to a cancer stick, you're going to end up with cancer, emphysema, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, all right. So, how has Messiah touched you? Look at somebody, ask that question. I want you to think about that. Has He done anything in your life that was worthwhile, that brought genuine change in your life? Anything that He touched you that was worthwhile, that brought change in life, that you feel so appreciative to, that you feel like I did, I felt like I owe Him now. When He gave me my life back at 18 years old, it was no longer pursuing basketball. It was no longer pursuing anything else, even though, you know, that probably could easily, you know, minimum, you know, gone to college. And I got some nephews that went to college with superstars, and when I was up in age, I could beat them. So I know I could have been at least a superstar in college, you know, or could went further. But guess what? That was no longer a pursuit of mine. I felt so indebted because He connected and touched me. I felt connected, and now I was willing to follow because He gave me my life back. The doctors didn't give it to me. I was going back and forth to the doctors. Guess what? There's still no cure for rheumatoid arthritis to this day. There's not even cure for arthritis. There's still no cure for migraine headaches today. Still no cure. I've learned then since some things to help, you know, inflame and help create this stuff, and then you learn to stay away from it. But I also learn. They still haven't got a cure for it. So just imagine how different my kid's life would have been if I was crippled. That's enough to ought to make them want to give God some thanks for letting them have. Because I was 18, I had already had 3 kids. So 3 of them already had them. With the arthritis, with the migraine headaches. Long connection, people connected drugs. I connected to sex. You know, that was my drug. When I had troubles, I used sex as a way to relieve all of my whatever's going on. Hello? Okay. Big mistake when you do that. Big mistake. But one thing I learned, we still all use different ways to substitute stuff. So one person go to drugs, another go to cigarettes, another one go to this, another one go to anger, another one go to cussing and fussing, and another one go this way, that way. I just went to sex. So guess what? When I began to understand the fundamental principle, now it helps you to understand how to relate to other people and not beat them up and condemn them for what they do. Because just because what they did seemed worse than what you did, it doesn't change the fact of the principle. You're using something to escape your issues. Hello, y'all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I'm a committed guy. I was a good guy. I was still a sinful guy, but I was still a good guy. You know, I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm not gonna get involved and just leave you or this, that, the other. I want to be faithful, committed, all the way to the end, all that, but it still don't change. When you get in relationships for all the wrong reasons, it's not good. But most of us, when we get involved with relationship and make our connections, we're connecting for all the wrong reason. Because he makes me feel good. He makes me laugh. God knows that's never a good reason to marry somebody. Oh, they make me laugh. You hear that with women all the time. Oh, he makes me laugh. You know, that is never a reason to go with nobody. You want to laugh? You know, just watch comics on TV. You know? There is never a reason that somebody make you laugh. That you want to marry them or go with them because they make you laugh. Just as sure as they make you laugh, they're going to make you cry. Because most people that do a whole lot of laughing is covering up a lot of pain. Have y'all seen that we still never left the law connection? See, the law connection connects to so many things. So now, in these last few minutes, let's tie it to leadership. Y'all learn anything so far? Mm-hmm. Again, leaders touch a heart before they ask for a hand. And again, the woman at the well is our example. You cannot move people to action unless you first move them with emotion. The heart comes before the head. The stronger the relationship and connection between individuals, the more likely the follower will want to help the leader. To connect with people in a group, relate to them as individuals. It is the leader's job to initiate connection with the people. It is staff job to initiate connection with people. It is the staff job. It is deacons and elders and kitchen people. It is ushers and greeters. It is musicians. It's psalmists. It is people who function in any capacity. It's their job to connect with people. It is the leader's job to initiate connection with people. When we talk about leaders, we talk about people in leadership. Understand, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Listen to me carefully. Ministries, large, small, no matter what they are, ministries grow through connecting with people. Why do you think a large ministry have so many different outreaches? Why? Because we got a lot of people. There's different needs. And so you need to have a lot of different outreaches in order to connect with people. And if you don't find ways to connect with people, you lose them. And one person can't connect with everybody. That's why you need a lot of people connecting with a lot of people. And because of the law of connection, this is why the Creator built the beginning of what we call the kingdom in the earth realm, natural, through Abraham. He started with a family. And he saw in Abraham that this man is a disciplined man and that he will command his children and his children's children. And so he used them to connect with them in order to expand what he wanted to do on the earth. He did it through a man and through his family, and then through that family to take it to the world. This is why God always called families. Why? Because when he called a person, when God calls a person like Aaron, calls a person like Dominic, he calls a person like Robert, he calls a person like Timmy, calls a person like Levi, he calls a person like my daughter Latasha, he calls a person like my wife Sheila, he calls a person like who you are, but I'm just using immediate my family. He calls that family in order to touch that family, in order to touch other people, so that they touch other people, then they touch other people and impact other people until it's just started ricocheting and going throughout the world. He starts with relationships. Everything is built around, even on the job. If you don't have a good relationship on the job, do you want to stay on the job? You feel miserable in that job. You don't connect with nobody. The law of connection ties into everything. So you need connection in order to even stay on a job. You need connection to stay within a local assembly. You need connection in order to stay in a marriage. You need connection in order to stay in a family. You need connection in regard to stay in a community. Because when you don't feel like you can connect with nobody in that community, you want to move. You need it. Because the law of connection starts first with what? Relationships. And how do you build a local assembly? It starts with one relationship at a time. How you build a business? It starts with one relationship at a time. How you build a family? It starts with one relationship with a husband or wife, and then you start having some kids. Start with one relationship at a time. How you build a community? Start with one relationship at a time. Everything starts with the law of connection. So you take the law of connection out, what you got? Divorce. Take the law of connection out, what you got? No growth in the church. Take the law of connection out, what you got? No growth in the business. Take the law of connection, no growth in the community. Take the law of connection, because what makes people want to move into a community? It's the law of connection. People go in it and they feel and see the connection that people in the community have, because I don't care how nice a community is, if people are hateful, you don't want to move in that community. I don't care if it's $1 million homes in that community and they letting them go, for half the price. How about this one? They made a movie out. I ain't seen the movie because I won't watch. Because anything I don't watch. I have restrictions on myself. But move to a racist white Klan community. You want to live there? Only in the 60s you might want to do that to fight through in order to pave the way for another. But now that the pave has been paved, I don't want to fight. I want to go to a community where I don't have to fight. I move over there with Deacon Moore. So I ain't got to fight. You know, but if the Almighty called you something, like when he called us to this particular ministry, and he told me he wants to build a relationship between blacks and whites, and he sent me right to this community, and we moved here. When we moved here, before we purchased the property and everything, we moved here in '87. You know, racism was still very strong in this community. We were the very first blacks to move into this community. The only thing, be outside, go about calling you that wonderful, blessed, you know, like they don't know your name and they think your name is that name. And they go about and then they try to spit on you and all that kind of stuff like that. And why would you want to do that? Man, God, if God let me have my way, I would have been right in Baltimore City among my own folk and build a church faster and quicker than you being out in the desert of the wilderness. And the racists, and they and even my family, when we came to live out here, they reminded us, do you know they used to lynch us out there? In certain areas, it's very, very, still to this day, very, very strong racist community. Right around here, you know, Dundalk, you know, still got some. And many are here to tell us Dundalk was worse than here, Essex. And I know that they don't want to speak that on them today because there's so many good people there. But just because you got good people there, don't mean it's still not true. But here's the reality, because two things can be true at the same time: good people there and racist people there. Good things can be true. You're a bad husband, but a good father. Two things can be true at the same time. You know? So let's get that down. But the law of connection applies in all of these areas. Who are you connecting to? When you begin to look around and you begin to look at us as a congregation, what hinders us from being as effective as we can? Because we don't reach out and connect to others. We're good at connecting to each other. Some of us anyhow, or I should say most of us. But the key is learning to connect with others. The more people you're able to connect to, then the more people you can help draw in. The more lives you can touch, the more can be drawn into the kingdom. And if all you hang with is your friends, you're not winning folk for the kingdom. Listen to me. When is the greatest time to win a person to Messiah? They use the term called transition. Catching people in transition. How do you know when somebody in transition? Because just because somebody going through don't mean they're in transition. So you can know, only God knows exactly that moment. When a person is for some people, it is immediate transition. They're open. Transition of a new baby, transition of a new job, transition. And that's the best time to make a connection and bringing people to Messiah. He only knows that. Now, other people, it's not soon as they had a baby, it's after they had a baby, the transition begins. Every human is different when that transition takes place, because it's after the difficulties of the child comes in, they start putting them through the transition. You know, waking up in the middle of the night, got to, you know, change the baby diapers and all that kind of stuff and all that. And say, God help me, and it still got to be to work, 6 in the morning. All right. Yeah. I ain't never thought about you, but Jesus, Yahshua, Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, Yah, Whatever you are out there, I need some help now. That they in transition. They're, that's the best time to catch people. Only the Almighty knows when that is. He knows when people are in that place of transition, because when they're there at that point, they're looking for change. And people can still go through trouble and still not look for change because the transition is over. So the Almighty knows. Sometimes it's a short period of time. Sometimes it's only a minute. Sometimes it's only a hour. Sometimes it's only one day. And sometimes it's a week. And for other people, it's a month. And some people, it's years of going through transition, and they open that longer period of time. And it's when you catch them in those transition times, that's when people are far more open to the gospel, far more open to change. Have you got sick and tired of being sick and tired? And you're so tired of being tired? See, that's when you was in your point of transition. Now, watch this. Did you know how sick and tired you got sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired? Until after a while you started to live and take a nap in your sick and tiredness? See, you was out of the transition. Because you got used to it and just accepted it as a part of natural life. So you're not open to change any longer. Even though you're still tired of it, but you're learning how to sleep with it. You know, like some people learn how to sleep with depression. You know, you want to lose weight, and after a while you get so sick and tired, and tell this just seem like that until you just like say, oh, I remember, when I always had APAC for the longest time, APAC for decades, now I got a keg, no, but had, I don't even drink beer, nothing like that, but I got a keg, but a small one, but, and so, he said, let me go back and try to do what I used to do, do those nice little crunches and do, on the floor, you lift it 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you felt that pain. I said, I can live with it. Because once you get away from it, it is not easy to go back. And so you at a point of transition, and after a while, you just learn to get comfortable with it. But the beautiful part of the thing today, they got modern ways to help you to work on your stomach and all that kind of stuff without those old-fashioned ways that hurt your back and things of the nature. And I'm grateful for that. And so when you go work out, go to one of these places, it just make it so much easier. Modern technology has helped us. And so, maybe I can get, a 4-pack to a 6-pack, or, by the time, when I'm real good in another club, working on it, because that other club is less than a year around. I'll be joining another club. And so I am very honored to join that club, because there's some other folk in that club in here. I'm honored to join because it's a rule, y'all. It's a wonderful rule. Young people never forget it. It's a wonderful rule. Some of you have heard me say it, sometimes you forget it. But the beautiful rule is, there's only one rule to get no. You got to live. So you say, I don't want to never be 60. Guess what? Then you're going to be dead. It's the only way to get to 60. You got to live. Because you can't stay 25 for 2, 3, 5 years. It don't work. You got to keep moving forward. All right. So when a teacher has done the work to connect with his people, it will be reflected through the operation of the organization. Among members, there is incredible loyalty and a strong work ethic. The vision of the leader becomes the aspiration of the people. The impact is incredible. There is an old saying, to lead yourself, use your head. To lead others, use your heart. That's the nature of the law of connection. Always touch a person's heart before you ask him for a hand. Give another what he cannot find anywhere else, and he will keep returning. And that's a quote from Mike Murdoch. This year, we want to make connections. There's a wonderful opportunity that's in our midst. And there was been in times past, but in times past did not have quality people around. Because what was that? Didn't get to it, did we? I thought it did. But dealing with the law of inner circle. Because you can't go far without the right inner circle. You're not going to go far in life without right inner circle. You're not going far in marriage without that mate being a part of that inner circle. You're not going far. But you're not going far without the law connection. And the law connection is not a one-time deal. You have to learn how to connect and look for opportunities to connect with people daily. Will we open our hearts that from this day forward, we're going to look for opportunities to connect with people for the good of the kingdom daily? Not just connect with folk and not just connect with your family, but connect with who the Creator wants daily. Father, show me, because that's what I prayed every day. God, who you want me to minister today? And then I'll go out and I'll go past a lot of people. And then he say, this one. And every day I would go past a lot of people. And then he would show me this one. I remember times that he would send me, he said, I want you to go down, I want you to go out of the house, I want you to go down, and there's so many blocks down the street. And then he said, I want you to go on the corner, I want you to stand on that corner. And I would go there, and I would hear his voice, and he would tell me to go in that corner, and I'm standing. I'm standing, people going by, standing. People keep going by, standing. It seemed like about an hour later, they said, that's the person. You know, in my mind, it's like, how come you just send me, later instead of early? But he did. And I was able to lead that person, my son. Every day was always leading people. Why? Because you listen to his voice and then you make the connection. And there's nothing worse than when the Almighty speaks to you and tell you, and I've had this a few times, my son Aaron told me about it, but nothing worse than when the Almighty tell you. When he told me, he said, you need to lead them to Messiah today because they're going to be gone. You mean they're going to die? And it just seems like the person is not even open. And I remember dealing with them and talking, and I can't tell them that God telling me you're going to die. That don't sound good. That don't encourage nobody, and that don't help with nobody. But then all I knew is after I done talked and said, hey, because they were ready to roll, I said, can I pray for you? And I invoked God into it so he can show up. And then he said, well, I need to get to this place where they feed and they're going to close. I said, I'll make sure you eat. And so I lead them into the church, because the church where we were at back then, they just stayed open all the time. And people was there always praying and had what we call prayer warriors and stuff. And so I would lead them in there, guide them to them, and then left them right into their hands to help guide them. The reason why I say that, because I remember when I heard his voice on that, and I didn't do anything. And then I found out that person was dead. That's why it says nothing worse than when you're hearing the Almighty deal with you to deal with. Because he didn't tell me they're going to be dead, but that person will die, but they end up being dead after I told them. There's nothing worse than hearing stuff like that. And you didn't do your job. We serve a creator still interested in winning souls for the good of his kingdom. And I want to tell you without a doubt, Yeshua the Messiah is coming back. I can't tell you when, but he is. And I'm telling you this, death is coming around the corner. I don't know when, but it is. And whether it be death or whether it be the return of Yeshua the Messiah, people need to be made ready for that. And you need to be made ready for that. Because there's nothing worse for you to leave this earth and die without fulfilling your purpose. And then you have to meet your creator. I don't want to be in your shoes. I was at a point of physical near death, and I knew it. And I looked around at life, and I saw no reason to stay here on this earth. I looked at the wife, I looked at the kids, I looked at grandkids, I looked at everything. There was no reason to stay. Because other than that, I would have been ready to check. Because it's not about long life for me, it's just about fulfilling God's purpose. And when I looked and I saw that I had not fulfilled his purpose, I said, I can't die. And that's the thing that gave me the courage to fight through to live. Wanting to please my creator. I don't care what you do with humans. You can't. You make them feel good today, but you ain't gonna make them feel good every day. If you look for that and always looking for humans that they go up, you're gonna miss it. But there's a person that doesn't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And his standards never altered and never changes. And guess what? He can be pleased. And he did one of the most pleasing things in my life was to give me my life back. And the least I can do is give him mine. How do you feel about it? Because that's the real point about the law connection. Have you really made a connection with God? You say, but do you really have a real connection with him? You say you love him, but do you really have a real connection with him? You say that you want to please him and do his will, but your life don't prove it. Sometimes, instead of waiting for God to make a connection with you, you need to press in to him and make a connection with him. He's not gone anywhere. He's not running from you. Maybe you might be running from him, but he's not running from you. And you can run from God even when you're in the church. Yeah, I brought my kids up in church, but guess what? Coming up in church don't make you saved. And even when you lead your kids into a confession where they accept Yeshua the Messiah, Jesus Christ, as their Savior, their Lord, guess what? That don't mean they have a connection with God. Just because you confess something don't make you connected with him. People get married and have a marriage certificate and they still don't have that connection. Just because you're born into a family and you got the family name don't mean you are connected to them or they are connected to you. But in this family, your Creator wants to connect with each and every last one of us. Will you make that connection? Because here's the power behind it. Once you connect with Him and truly connect, your life will never, ever be the same. But the kids, you got to stay connected. Because if you get connected, your life changes and then it reverts back if you don't stay connected. But the key is to connect and to keep pursuing Him. As the song says, I'm chasing after you. Will you connect with your God? Will you connect with your local assembly? Will you connect with others? Father, in the name of your Son, I pray for the law of connection to begin to have its way in every facet of our human and spiritual life, where we're connecting with you and we're connecting with others. And Father, we cannot connect appropriately with others until there's a proper connection with you. Help us, teach us, instruct us. That we may understand how to operate in this law when it comes to you and when it comes to others. This I pray in Yeshua's name. Amen. Will you stand to your feet? We say, Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face to shine upon you, be gracious to you. May Yahweh turn his face towards you and give you shalom, peace to your spirit, to your soul, to your body, to your social, to your financial, to your marital, to your single, to your sexual lives. May the shalom of Yah rest on you. May the shalom, the peace of Yah dwell within you, where there be nothing missing, nothing broken. In the holy name of Yeshua. Father, connect us to you and teach us how to connect with others, that we may enlarge your kingdom, is my prayer. Those that are watching, you can go to our website and you can support if you choose at Levi Web Ministries, or you can go to britministries.org and then you can do so. Those that are here, as we're dismissed, you can give as the Almighty dictate your heart in terms of tithes, offerings, and all those other things. But at this time, we're dismissed, and share the love of Yah with each other.